Sure, everyone. Tokyo Joe here, coming at you live from Tokyo Midtown, Tokyo Town, the land of Japan. Friends, today on the Tokyo Farm Podcast, I'm discussing the most important subject, and that, my friends, is the different types of Gaijin you see around Tokyo Town. Now, I have to say, friends, some of us here are pretty lucky because we don't get to see those dog-eared, faded, jaded people who live out in the countryside. No siree. We're pretty lucky here in Tokyo Town. We don't get to see those Gaijins who spend the whole time outside of Tokyo because they can't handle the bright lights in the big city. Right, and the Shibuya crossing, and the noise, and the humdrum, and the buzz of the 24-hour city that Tokyo is. Because, friends, I'll tell you something. For those of you who are in a city you think is a city that never sleeps, let me tell you, Tokyo is a city that never sleeps. Right? Okay, I'm telling you, you go out to any of the big major centers in Tokyo Town, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, any night of the week, and there are more people there than in your little podunk city. I don't care if it's New York, I don't care if it's Miami, I don't care if it's London town, I don't care if it's Sydney, I don't care if it's Hong Kong. There are more people here than anywhere. So there. Let's get on with the Gaijin in Tokyo Town. I categorize them in different categories. And just follow me here. First of all, we have the typical Gaijin. They can all be called Gaijin, right? I'm a Gaijin, right? You know, people think Gaijin's offensive. That's a whole other podcast I'll have to do about that, because you know that's really a whole other topic. I'm not talking about whether or not the term Gaijin is offensive or not. I don't think it's offensive at all, personally. Now, I'm talking about different categories of Gaijin. And for those of you who've seen my videos and subscribed to my channel, and please do so, please subscribe, rate, and comment, because you know, friends, I'll live for your comments. And I promise, I never censor your comments, and I respond to every single one of them, eventually. But you would have seen my video about the VS.GAIJIN, F-L-Y-G-I-J-I-N. And the VS.GAIJIN are people who have left Japan because they're afraid of what's happened after 3/11 last year. And what's that place? What's them words? What's that place at the north? Fukushima, right? Die, fuck you. And they're afraid of the ionizing radiation. So a lot of them left Tokyo Town. And we call them the VS.GAIJIN. Well, really, VS.GAIJIN, I want to clarify something. If you're living in the south of Japan, away from da fuck you, I don't call you a VS.GAIJin, right? I think that's okay. If you decided to live west of Nagoya, south of Japan, I really don't think that's a problem. You ain't a VS.GAIJin. But if you've left Japan, yes, you are a VS.GAIJin, right? So please, when you're watching my other video about the VS.GAIJIN, bear in mind when I'm talking about people who live close to the da fuck you and moved down to the south, they're not really VS.GAIJIN, right? I'm just mentioning them just to let you know what's happening in town here. But if you left Japan, then you are a VS.GAIJIN. Those staying in Japan, even those moving down the south, you ain't a VS.GAIJIN, right? Just to clarify that. By the way, if you're a VS.GAIJIN, fuck you very much. I mean, come on. Japan gave you a lot of opportunity. Now all you do is leave? Huh? That ain't polite. Didn't your ma teach you any manners? Okay, let's get on with the show. Next category of Gaijin. I call them the Cryjin. Because I'll tell you why. When they come to Japan, within about 3 minutes, 3 hours, sometimes even 3 days, Sometimes it even takes 3 weeks if they last so long. They are crying and bawling their eyes out because they can't wait to go home already. They're crying all the time. They're worried about stuff at home. They're missing home. I call these people the Gaiijin, right? Everything in Japan is bad because they can't get what they want. And all they want to do is get stuff they want at home. Well, let me ask you something, Mr. Gaiijin, little Miss Gaiijin. What'd you expect? Huh? You come to Tokyo Town, you come to Japan, did you expect it to be exactly like home? No, that ain't reasonable. So, stop crying, start getting on with it. You don't like Japan? Then you can be a Gaiijin. But we don't want no Gaiijin around Tokyo Town. So that's the second category. I call them a Gaiijin, right? Third category, I call them the Gaiijin. Gaiijin, right? Because they're in denial. A lot of these people come to Tokyo Town. They've got a Bachelor of Arts degree from a university somewhere no one even heard about, right? And they come over here and teach the English, which is fine because, fine, teach the English. It's an honest job, right? And let's face it, everyone needs to make their money somehow, right? But they're in denial, friends. And I'll tell you why, and you can watch my other video about this, and that is, it's called, Are You an English Teacher in Japan? And I'd like to hear from you if you are. But I think a lot of these kids come over and teach the English, and they're in denial about what they're going to do because they think it's a real career. And they think that when they go back, a lot of people are going to open up their arms and say, hey, look at you. You be teaching the fucking English in Japan. I'm going to hire you because you're the best. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I call them the Gaiijin. Right? Then you have another category of people. These people are real, I don't know, how would you describe them? I'll tell you how you describe them. I call them the Gaiijin. D-R-Y-J-I-N. Gaiijin. Why do I call them Gaiijin? Because, friends, all these people do is drink. And I tell you, they need to dry out. Right? They need to dry out. So I call them the Gaiijin. Dry the fuck out, Mr. Gaiijin. And I'm looking at you, Mr. Denmark, and Mr. Norway, and Mr. Sweden. I'm looking at you, Mr. England, Mr. Germany. You guys come over here to Japan, and all you do is drink, 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 drink. Right? You are so drunk all the time. It's like, if you want to get drunk, why come to Japan? Why not just put on a DVD about Japan at home, put in your old VHS or whatever you got, and watch a video about Japan and get drunk at home? I don't get it, right? And hire a Japanese hooker or something like that. Do that. Don't come to Japan and drink and act like a fool, right? Don't act a fool over here in Tokyo Town. We don't like you over here doing it, Mr. Gaiijin. You know who you are, Mr. Scandinavian Gaiijin. Stop making fools of yourselves. Get drunk at home instead. Hire some Japanese hookers, put on a VHS cassette of Japan. Do that instead. We don't want you. I call them the Gaiijin. Dry the fuck out, Gaiijin. Right. Now, the other type you have are called the Shijin. Shijin. S-H-Y-J-I-N. And why are they called the Shijin? I'll tell you in the next episode. No, I won't. I'll tell you right now. These people are very shy. Right? I think they came to Japan because they like to play like Danny Chu with plastic figurines and dress up in cat outfits. But I'll tell you a little secret about the Shijin, because I met a couple of the Shijin. A couple of them come over and they're looking for love, Tokyo Joe love, and I show them around. And let me tell you, I think some of the Shijins, little Miss Shijins I met, some of them are real crackers in the sack. They can't wait to do the dirty stuff. Oh yeah. So they might be shy on the outside, but a lot of them are very not so shy on the inside. But you know the type I'm talking about. These are people with glasses, a little bit overweight usually, and they got shy problems at home. They're kind of shy. They like the manga. They like the little dolls. They like the otaku stuff. I call them the Gaijin. Are you a Gaijin? Let me know. Now, the other category of people, you call them, are the Mai Tai-jin. Mai Tai, as in the Mai Tai cocktail, right? Why do I call them that? Well, friends, I'll tell you something. There's a group of people who come over here, never worked a day in their life in Japan, and they think they can spend years and years and years, or months and months and months, living over here in the high life, drinking their Mai Tais, and living the high life, right? They think they can do that. Well, they do, and they do it real good. So I call them the Mai Tai-jin. This is a real elite. Come over, don't need to work a day in their lives, live in Tokyo town months at a time, live it up, spend every waking moment doing what they want, kind of the opposite of an ESL teacher, and I call them the Mai Tai-jin. Okay, friends, what other kinds of gaijins are there around town that you've noticed? I'd like to hear from you. If you're a gaijin who lives in Tokyo town or lives in Japan, and I'd like to hear from you if you ain't a gaijin who lives in Tokyo town or in Japan. Post your comments, because you know, friends, I live for your comments. And I'd like to hear from you. What are the different types of gaijins around Tokyo town? Maybe you've made up your very own special phrase, like Flyjin, Cryjin, Denaijin, etc. Maybe you got your own special category of gaijin. I want to know from you. Okay, friends? So, I'd like to hear from you, Tokyo Joe. Tokyo Joe would like to tell you thank you very much for listening to the podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Please rate, subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up. Tell your grandma, tell your grandpa, tell your aunt, tell your uncles, tell your kids, tell your pet dog, don't listen to the Tokyo Forum podcast, and I will see you on the channel or at the forum, www.thetokyoforum.tk, or I will see you at the Twitter, at the Tokyo Forum, and you can follow me personally, Tokyo Joe, on Twitter, at Tokyo Joe Love. Okay, friends, bye for now.